Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I know we are at the pre-lunch time slot, so everyone will be waiting for lunch, but hopefully we will keep your attention for the next 45 minutes. So this session is on gender equity, particularly in Asia-Pacific academia context. I'm delighted to be joined by a very esteemed panel here. Really looking forward to hearing their observations and their personal experiences too on being an academic in this region. So what I'm going to ask them to do is introduce themselves in a moment, and I'm starting with a question to them on where you think we are currently in gender equity. What's the current status quo? Can you describe how you view gender equity in academic roles in the Asia-Pacific? Kind of what you see and feel every day in your own roles and in your experience, and how that's changed over the time that you've been in academia. Okay, I will start with you, Tony.
All right. Sawadee krap. So good morning, everyone. I'm a bit excited today, and yep. I have been in this position as a lecturer for only 5 years. I began my journey as a cabin crew first. In that industry, in the Thai Airways International, we accept every gender roles in our industry. But when this occupation shift, I need to work with so many academia person. For example, in one of university that I need to graduate PhD. At that time, when you study PhD and you need to do research, they will ask you, what kind of research problem you want to figure out? And I say, I am myself, I am an LGBTQ, very obvious, and I really want to help our community at that time. But the things that the university don't want us to shout out loud, because it's something that, people in the world realize that Thailand is acceptable for this kind of stuff, but actually there are a lot of things that we cannot do, and I have to change my topic when doing research. But now, I am now currently a university lecturer, I have more opportunities to get to work on that, and then I'll create a lot of things about LGBTQ rights, especially in the teacher education, because I believe that we need to create a new generation of the teacher. We need to believe in ourselves first, and then we're gonna transfer this to the next generation. I need to thank you to Emerald Publishing, because I have just begun my journey as only 5 years, right? I don't know what about publication. I just searched it online. My university forced me to publish a lot of paper. I don't know where what I can do and where to start, but I see in the advertisement, and AI suggests me to, you go with this Emerald, and I do a lot of paper and then create a lot of research, and I have to say thank you first, and then I will come back in myself again.
I think that's on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on. Okay. Krishna,
Okay.
you go. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Krishna Ngadwita. I'm a lecturer at School of Economics and Business Telkom University, Indonesia. So nice to meet you all. Yes, I'm very honored to be involved in this panel discussion. Actually, my research focus on women entrepreneurship and gender issue. And yes, I have so many research on that issue because actually I started my research about 12 years ago. So currently I'm as a lecturer about 10 years. So I'm your senior. Okay. So yeah, I have published so many articles on Emerald also. Yeah, I think the platform is very accessible. So in Indonesia, actually, gender issue is still related with the woman. So I don't know. I think when we talk about gender, I think it's not only about the woman, right? There are so many issues, but I don't know. Woman is still, not only in the business, not only in the society, but in academician, it's only face so many challenges. So I think it's very interesting when we talk about women yeah, on gender issues. So in this panel discussion, maybe we can further discuss more about this issue. Okay, thank you.
So, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. My name is Noraida Endut. The other two speakers, they are almost the age of my son. So, no, they could have been my children. So, but anyway, so I am now at the University Science Malaysia. My area is actually law. So I've got 3 degrees in law, but my research has focused on women. I was also one of the earlier academic staff in University Science Malaysia who wrote the proposal to set up the Center for Research on Women and Gender. So the center itself started as a research project very early in 1978. It has evolved, but only in 2001 it was established as a center of excellence within the university. And at that time, the center was named Center for Research on Women's Development, because at that time it is very difficult for the university to accept the word gender in the name of the center. So only in 2014 we tried to convince this. We made a proposal to the University Senate to accept the word gender. And one of the things that the Senate members asked, so if you want to study women and gender, why don't you also study children? And you know, you study everything under the sun. So that was, so they always want to attach children with women. So then we told them we study women and girls. Okay, so the context of gender is, we look at it as a kind of, it's a framework, it's a kind of analysis that we will use in terms of relationship between men and women. So, and also we can only present to them in a sense that we are studying a kind of binary relationship between men and women. We were not able to propose, for example, to be able to study LGBTIQ, although there are students who want to study LGBTIQ, and it's very difficult to go through the process of accepting a study on LGBTIQ as a research project. Is very difficult, especially in the context of getting funding for study. So at this point, but also there are also situations where because the study of women, the context of gender equality, where we study women in relation to discrimination with compared to men, is still very new, and it's still very difficult to get a hold in a sense, to get legitimacy for study. So the focus, rather than trying to take resources away from the study of women, we have to now ensure that, because resources are very scarce to study gender equality in the context of women. So we are now still focusing in that context, while also encouraging studies like masculinity, where there can be opportunities also to look into the spectrum in terms of gender. So our in the center, we don't only pursue research for research sake, in a sense that research for academic publication, but we also do a lot of advocacy work. So we advocate with the government, basically trying to communicate with the government the importance of looking at gender equality, especially in university, but also in different communities. So we also advocate for marginalized women in communities. So it is a bit exhausting, because we are also a small center with only about 5 people. So we look at the position of single mothers, because single mothers are mostly poor in Malaysia in terms of their economic empowerment. So we look at sexual and reproductive health of women workers, or also including migrant women workers, which is also another subject that is very difficult to do, migration in terms of migrant workers and also migrant communities. So we are also we studied violence against women. Many of our researchers are doing the issue of violence against women. We actually at the university we drafted for the university the policy on sexual harassment, which was established in 2009. But only in 2013, the university established a committee on sexual harassment where grievances can be, when we can receive grievances. And we just, the university actually just passed gender equality policy last year. So that was also our work for a few years. So we've been trying to get the university to understand the importance of gender equality. So there are a lot of negotiation and renegotiation to get those kind of policies formalized at the university level. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. That's, really important work, and you've clearly seen some changes since you started in academia. So thinking about, I'll stay with you, Narendra, for the next question to start with. Thinking about your own personal career journey, what were things like in academia when you started, and what changes have you seen in terms of gender makeup, leadership, mentoring, that kind of thing?
I think one of the first disillusionment that I got about the higher education is when I was interviewed for a trainee position as a lecturer, where the university is offering scholarship to do postgraduate studies so that I can come back and serve the university. So in the interview, this was about 27, 28 years ago, maybe more, about 30 years ago, okay? So the panel, which were all made out of men, so they asked this question, if we take you as a lecturer, because I was from another state, so the university is in Penang, so I was from another state. So they asked, if you take up this position, you go and study, you got your PhD, and then you got married. What's going to happen? So then I have to ask them, why? Why is that a problem? Because you may decide, for example, not to continue with us. We invest money in you. You decide to follow your husband. Okay, so then that was the kind of, the first thing that shocked me in terms of I didn't have any kind of experience, that kind of experience before that, because I was brought up in a family that values the girls and the boys in basically an equal manner, subject to, of course, some cultural norms. But I was always able to speak up. So this is a situation. Then I went to study and then come back, and I saw that while there were more women at the starting point, more at the entrance level, there are more women lecturers. Then I noticed that basically the more senior members are usually men. So we have a lecturer, and then we have associate professor, and then we have professor. So the professors, the associate professors are mostly men, and also there are less and less women at the professorial level. So, but there are a lot of very talented, very highly intelligent women who could have done the job. But then, because we have the center, because of course the center was set up by a few of my seniors as well. So. I think because of the center, we were able to always call out on the administration, on the university management. When are you going to do this? When are you going to do it? So we were able to do that. But also, you see, I was the third director of the center. So when I became director for the first time in 2013. So we had like a kind of meeting, and I sat in a table with like 5 men and another woman. And so the one of the men actually told me, congratulations, but I hope you won't be like your predecessor. And then I said, why? You don't have to speak up too much. You don't have to, always raise your voice in meetings. I hope you have a different way of doing it. So then I had to tell him, the only reason if I don't speak up or I speak softly is because naturally I'm a quiet person. Naturally but I feel that in my heart I say, because this man has said this, I'm going to speak up. So that's a kind of encouragement for me. So I have been speaking up in various places.
Good for you. Thank you. Kristen, same question in terms of your career. What have you seen so far, and what change do you think is still needed?
Actually, I started my career as a lecturer when I was young. I didn't have children when I started my career as a lecturer, but currently I have 2 kids anyway. And I reflect to myself, yes, it's very hard for me to be lecturer because in Indonesia there are so many applications, not only in administration process, but we have like 3 obligation: teaching, community service, and also researching. So we have to fulfill all. So it's very difficult. What I did, actually I prevent to position of structural because I think I don't have enough time to manage all the thing. I have responsible as to manage my domestic, my domestic life, and also in the university also. So because I see currently there are so many policies supported for women, but technically the cultural I think is constraint for us. Like. All the assessment for the lecture, man or woman, it's the same. So that I am as a wife, also have a double responsibility. And this is very hard, And in my university, leadership is associated with the masculinity. So it also challenged me. I think this is the fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony, I'm fascinated by what you were saying at the start around your very different experience in another world, another industry. Right. And I'm just curious about that in terms of how you adapted to a very different environment and how that felt and what change you want to make within academia.
There's a lot of things in these 5 years. First of all, yesterday I talked with the 2 of the ASEAN friends who have to be the speakers, and I realized that women issues in their country is so strong. Different from us, Philippines and Thailand. We fight for our rights. Okay, women rights in Thailand and Philippines, I think it's quite strong. They fight for their rights. Talking about LGBTQ plus, right? In Thailand, people around the world realize that we have the strong right, or we can be whatever we want to be. But actually, it's hard, especially when it comes to academic field. I begin my career. I faced with a lot of problems. The way I dress up, the way I wear, the way I color my hair. They always want me to follow the norms, the culture that they have. Because you're going to be the teacher, you're going to be a lecturer. Why don't you just be the normal? I say, like, I'm normal now? Don't I look normal? Okay, especially I come from the generation that speak up my mind, always fight for my right. They always say, okay, come to this room. How to say in English? Change your attitude now. Please change, because you're going to be the teacher. You're going to produce a lot of teachers around Thailand. But no, I will not change. Right after that, I stay in my place, in my corner. I never been supported by the government fund. I just do the research that I think is going to impact the world, impact Thailand. I start my journey at just do my own fun, but just interview those who are struggling in the pain of being LGBTQ. Start with school, the school because what? I've been there before. I know what it feels like to be afraid of going to the toilet, to the male toilet, and be bullied by the straight. Another one, bullied by the teacher themselves. Another one, being by the people around you. Even up to this day, we have the same-sex marriage in Thailand, but these problems still happen around Thailand. And after I published some of the papers about LGBTQ rights, social justice, inclusive classroom, inclusive society, okay, some of the teachers grabbed the attention from my research and they asked me to talk about this. But when I proposed a topic that I want to talk, they said, no, please stop. Again, I say, okay, stay at your place, I will do my right. And then I am now teaching the master and PhD program, which I have to create a lot of thesis. I let my advisee do their own interest, okay? And now they want me to do more of they give more funding from the government, but don't want me to do with the LGBTQ or the gender, even the women rights. So I do with the marginalized group. We call Hmong, you know Hmong, right? Hmong tribe. Hmong, which is, they come from China, but live around the border area of Thailand. I think there are a lot of countries in ASEAN here, we have Hmong tribes. And then when I go there, I realize a lot of gender inequality, a lot of they need helps. We always think we need to do the STEM, we need to create a STEM, STEM. But they never think about their own fundamental right, their own fundamental things that they don't have, that we need to help them as the education. And you said yourself that you need to create your teachers around Thailand, but you never really help them. I realized that there's a lot of things that I need to do. And thank you for many journals that let me publish my research. That's very difficult to publish in Thailand. You've never seen LGBTQ topic, sensitive topic like this in the journal in Thailand, TCI. But the world now have seen my research. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's stay with you, Tony, and we'll go back down the line. I want to talk to you all about the role of mentoring. Have you had a mentor in your career that has given you that support, that has meant that you felt braver? And do you want to pass that forward?
Taylor Swift.
I love that.
I am Swiftie for life. Eras Tour helped me a lot. I'm now becoming introvert. I don't know because of my age or of the struggle that I have been through, but I listen to Taylor Swift song, all the Taylor Swift song, repeat it, work out a lot, fight for my student. I talk with my advisee, and I'm now dating with one boy who is in the t-shirt industry as well. And I'm now facing his struggle because he is in a school. He cannot open up that he is gay or he's bi. But I am very obvious that I am gay. But we cannot have lunch or dinner together at the mall because he's afraid to let people see us. So lots of things that I need to work on this. And Taylor Swift, Netflix, things that I think that gonna help me, and then I will help others after this. That help my mental status.
Thank you. Same question, Krishna. Doesn't have to be Taylor Swift. It can be someone else.
I don't know. I think I don't have specific mentor because when I start to be lecturer, actually I don't have confidence with myself because there are so many people that, when I start to be lecturer, someone told me that I think you cannot success to be lecturer. So I just want to broken their opinion that I can do all the things. I can manage my work and also I can manage my family. So I think all the people can be role model. Okay, because I cannot do anything. I cannot do everything. So if I cannot do and they can do, yes, they are my role model. So actually, I don't have any specific. I only try to believe to myself that I can do what they think is not true. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. How about you, Noraida? And I guess there is a role for the centre to play in this as well.
I think I'm in a position of mentoring right now. I think I have tried to do that with my junior colleagues. And I think, I think it is also important, for example, for us to, in the context of higher education, for us to bring in the men as well, not, basically mentor, but as well as champions. But before we do that, we do need to get sort of the buy-in from the men and making sure that the men do not assume a kind of more superior position in championing for women. So I think, and that is a very difficult thing to do in a society like Malaysia currently. But I think slowly we have been able to get more men to understand gender equality, to be able to speak up, for example. So one of the things that I have done in my position as a kind of senior academic is when I'm in a committee. So I have seen similar experience being experienced by the new staff during interviews. So I was actually for a few years in the committee that interview people coming in. So there were like three other men, and I was the only woman. And the men they were fond of always asking for when women candidates come in, they will ask, are you married? I mean, it was actually quite clear from the forms and so on, from the information. It was already documented. But they would ask, are you married? And then they would ask, so if we hire you, what's going to happen to your family? Are you bringing them here? Is it okay for your husband to come to Penang? So at one point, I have to just stop them from asking that. But I have to be. I mean, this is the negotiation and renegotiation. I have to be. So this is like bargaining with patriarchy. So like I have to tell them, Professor so and so, you basically, if you ask this question to a woman, you should also ask this question to a man. So I cannot say to them, don't ask this question. So I think slowly some of the men are becoming more and more sensitive. So they would also then tell other men, not to do this. I think it's important. And so the fact that, this process where the university are able to accept the policy on gender equality, because when it was the last in the last decision-making process, there were no question. It was just full acceptance. So I think this is the process that we had to go through, especially also mentoring the younger men who are going to be the younger men and women who are going to be in decision-making position to be able to normalize the idea. But I think personally also, I would like to say that my mentors, but more than that, not just mentors, but of course, so they are my parents. I mean, I think because my mother is a very accomplished woman in my eyes, because even though she was from a very poor family, brought up by a single mom. So she was highly intelligent. So she was like, at that time, she was like when she went to school, Standard 1, and she was then she went to Standard 3, Standard 5. So she jumped. So she was by 14 years old, she was in teachers college. So very accomplished. So when I do training on gender, I will always tell this. I will always tell people about my mother, my grandmother, and also my father, because my father is also someone who see the daughters in an equal manner with the son. So we were taught to change light bulbs, all of us, and we were taught about cars, even though I don't really like working with cars. So so I think that's very important. People around us, people who are very close to us, that can be our mentors. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I want to turn to your hopes for the future, and I know you've both said you have children as well. I met your young daughter last night. What are your hopes for future generations in terms of gender equality, a more equal world, a more inclusive world in academia and beyond? We can start with you. Yeah.
I remember in the year 2010, if I'm not mistaken. So when we were doing International Women's Day celebration in the university, I actually wrote a poem called "Not in Our Lifetime." so the poem actually basically expressed my feelings that although we are doing all these things, it may not be in my lifetime to see gender equality around me, especially in my country. But I think it's getting nearer. So I may see it. I mean, the fact that at least at the university, I think I may see it within my lifetime. In the country also, I do hope. I mean, there is a kind of more technocratic approach to gender equality. You know, we are obliged to do this because of our involvement in international agreement. So we are we have to do the reports every 4 years. So there are things being going on that to achieve this. So, but whether or not people are absorbing the idea of gender equality in a wide manner, because we also have a lot of we still have, especially if you look at the social media in Malaysia. So Malaysians are very active in social media. So the misogynistic voices are still going around, you know, very widely. Men are openly basically calling bad things about women, about the way that. So now, for example, because I did a study on divorce, so I had to also go through the social media and look at. So there are these issues because women are. So when they divorce, so many men are not paying the maintenance that they're supposed to pay. So some of the arguments on social media is that, you know, we because you want to go out and work, so we don't have to do this. You know, we don't have to contribute because we allow you to go to work. You have jobs and so on. So why do you want child support? You know, so and they are so unapologetic about this. So I think that the older generation may have already accept a little bit gender equality. I'm a bit worried about the younger generation is becoming. For the men, I think it's becoming more toxic in their idea, and the fact that they are exposed to a lot of exposed also to the social media, to the borderless world. They may have got different ideas as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Actually, in Indonesia, there are so many regions with the different culture, and every region have different tradition. Yeah, they look at the woman in different perspective. Like maybe in Aceh, women have an obligation to stay at home, and when you go out on the night, there is a restriction. And in the rural area also, women seen as you have to stay at home. You do not need to go to higher education. So in Indonesia, the cultural norm is still very embedded. So I think it's very challenging when we fight to challenge the culture. But maybe what we can do is change the system, give the flexibility for the woman. Because currently in Indonesia there are so many educated women. But in practice, I think it's not easy. Because I'm from the rural area also, and you know, to get the higher education, I have to, the environment is very make me desperate. So I hope that I have a young doctor, and I hope that in the future the system will change, give more flexibility, give more. For example, in academician, the system cannot give us the same assessment for the men and women. Maybe for the woman academician, they can give us like flexibility, not about the lowering standard, but I think the equity is give all the equal for all the people. Yeah, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, talking about hope, because now we are in Thailand, right? And you can see when you travel around Bangkok, a lot of election moment now. Talking about election moment, you know, we, the new generation, or the old generation as well, we're getting bored, we're getting tired because of the things that they sell to us. They use a lot of sexy words to get us to know, get us to buy them, get us to choose them. But actually, when they were chosen, no, they don't do that in real life. And for example, in education field, a lot of things about lifelong learning, inclusive society, inclusive classroom, they want to help for us. But actually, they don't do that. They just use it as a sexy words again. I just have the very high hope that they really do it, not just see the foreign country as the example, but Thailand have opportunity to go through that, to do that, and to accomplish that. For my level, individual level, I want us as a teacher or the lecturer to empower the next generation to believe in themselves, to be to be what they really want, to grow up. Don't force or don't stop their dream. That's the things that I want to create the research and let this research speak by itself to help the next generation, not only LGBTQ, but for all, male, female, LGBTQ. And please, if you are Thai here, one of the Thai, if you are Thai here in this room, our society needs a lot of help, not only in this city, but around Thailand, especially in the marginalized group area as well.
Yeah, importance of allyship is crucial, isn't it? You need allies. We've got a few minutes in case anyone from the audience has a question for the panel. Yes, we have one here.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I'm from India, so a lot of this resonates. I was interested when you said, what is your hope for the future? And I sometimes feel, I find it very brave that people say there is hope and you expect that to happen in your lifetime, because I sometimes feel it's pretty hopeless. So I just want, I want to understand where that strength comes from. Where do women find? I experience it again and again and again when I meet women from, certainly from India, but anywhere in Asia, that sort of resilience. I like the way she put it, bargaining with patriarchy, that's a survival technique. So I'm just wondering, where does that hope come? I mean, you can't be without hope, I understand that. But where do you find the strength? I mean, you said, it really hits you. She said, Grishna, that in my university, leadership is masculine. That's the face of leadership. But she's there. She's going there every day. So where is that strength coming from? Will you share a little bit about? And you too, of course. Thank you.
Krishna can start.
Thank you. Really appreciate, because I think it's only me that have faced difficult time, but I think a woman in academician career, it's faced so many challenges. Not only me, not only Bu Noraida and you, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just try to show all the people that women can stand up, and we can show all the people that yes, we can, because honestly, I'm one of the lecturer in my university that focus on the research, and all the people like, you can, yes, you can, but yes, I can saw that I can have achievement, yeah, because I'm as a woman. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that question. I actually have, I have some good days of hope and I have some really, really bad days. But I think we draw strength from other women. From women who are working in various civil society organizations, from community women, and because so when most of my research also I do have to deal directly with our research subjects are mostly vulnerable women. So one of the things that we do different from many other academic research is that we have to have that kind of connection, continuous connection with the women that we're working with, because otherwise, this is a bit like what we call. There's a writing about this, there's a theory about this, women's ways of knowing. We do need to for feminist researchers, we have. I choose the word feminist researcher because it is very difficult for me to own being a feminist researcher in my country. But I want to own the word. I want to own it in my context. So one of the key ways of a feminist researcher is actually your engagement with your research subjects. You should not leave them behind. So the traditional social sciences, you go even when you do qualitative study, you go, you interview them, you take their knowledge, you take their experience for your benefit, because you write about them. You write about them, you write their experiences, and sometimes you misinterpret their experiences. Especially if you write in a way that you don't use their original language. So I think so I told my students, if you're interviewing community women, you need to put their narratives in their own language, because people who read them will have to understand. So although you will translate it into English or into Bahasa Melayu in our context, but you need to put it in the way that they have said it, because you don't you need to get their voices really outside there. So once you put it in a journal, sometimes it's just there. The women do not have access to the journals. They don't read what you write about them. They can't. They don't have access unless you actually share your articles with them. So before you write, you go and tell them, this is what we have written about you. So then you should have then a dialogue again. So I think this process also for me give me strength about going back to the women. So we kept in touch. Most of the time I keep in touch with the research subjects, and if there are things that I can do for them, I would message them back and in terms of opportunities, but also to be aware about the importance of acknowledging their vulnerable situation, and not using this knowledge that you get from them. They are the owners of knowledge. So you are simply a co-owner to a certain extent, and not to take advantage, because you get all your glory from all this, and you leave them behind. But they give you strength. So the idea that it's very difficult for us in women's and gender studies to get grants. So but this kind of experience gives me strength to every year to write proposals, to even for a small pitiful amount that's sometimes being given, So we do it. We have to get that strength. We have to get that hope, and not just for the glory and education. Thank you.
I'll give you the last word.
Okay. So if you ask the strength that I get right now, I think it's become from the pain in the past that I have been through in this society since I was just a little. I was been through a lot of judged the mental words and pain, and I remember everything. But I will not get the revenge by just killing them or whatever. I work my guts off. I work the hardest, and then I become the assistant professor now in the just only 2 years, because I think I need to focus on what I'm doing. And there's a lot of people that need my help. Okay, and then I have to transfer this knowledge or research process to the new generation too. This is the things that I always remember, and then I really focus on working hard, really hard, and just think about things that I can give to the society, really, really that, and not just only now in my university. I think about Thailand, and then I'll think about Asia and the globe as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's a great note to end on. I just want to say I found this very moving as a conversation. I really thank you for your openness and honesty. It's a really important conversation. I think it's an important conversation globally, and I hope we continue it. But thank you so much.
Thank you.